Dr. Martin. I know you did a wet reading on these x-rays, but I thought you might like to have them up here on file while you're treating the patient.
And you went down to emergency to get them?
Well, yes.
There wasn't anyone else in the entire hospital get them?
Everybody's been terribly, terribly busy.
And most of all you. Now, Ruth, I want you to go home now and get some rest yourself.
I'll be leaving in just a few minutes.
Now, why not now? Everything's under control now.
I know that, but there's a patient in 412 who's due for some medication in about 10 minutes. He's been a little resistant, and I thought maybe I'd like to try to give it to him myself.
That's that 18-year-old boy.
Yeah.
Oh, well. If it were a 17-year-old girl, I suppose I'd be identifying her with Tara.
Joe, do you think that all parents do that?
I think parents are doomed to worry about their children. And right now, I don't want you worrying about anything. I want you to have a cup of coffee and sit down while you're waiting to give medication.
Oh, no, I've got to get...
You don't have to do anything. Miss Sloan is here. 3 student nurses have just come on duty. So you have nothing to do for the next 10 minutes.
All right. Thank you, Doctor. Joe, I hope... Listen, I shouldn't have talked the way I did earlier this evening about Ted and Philip.
For heaven's sake, why not?
Because I should keep those problems to myself.
Well, Ruth, I hoped that we were friends.
Well, Joe, we are.
Well, why don't you let me act like a friend?
Well, you do that anyway.
Well, not as much as I'd like to. Well, anyway, you know, since your son and my daughter are talking about marriage all the time, I feel a vested interest in your family.
I guess that's true enough. I guess we should start worrying about the possibility of their marrying too soon.
No, I told you, I think that they ought to be allowed to live their own lives and make their own decisions.
I know. Joe, my concern is that Philip is thinking of enlisting and even of marrying Tara, primarily to get away from his own home.
Yes.
Listen, you have a son who's older than Philip. Have you ever had trouble or difficulty communicating with him?
Oh, Ruth, I think that's a stage every father and son go through.
But not as severe as Ted's and Philip's.
Oh, sometimes much worse.
I don't want to give you the impression that Philip isn't the only one who's suffering, you know. I know that Ted yearns for the relationship that they used to have. I just don't understand why it all changed so suddenly.
That's easy, Ruth. Philip grew up. Every father's a hero to his little boy, but not to his teenage son. That's human nature.
But Ted doesn't realize that, or at least he can't accept it. He's hurt. He's hurt by what he thinks is Philip's rejecting of him, and I suppose that's why he turns around and rejects him in return. And that is what is going to drive Philip right out of his own home.
Well, he just has to adjust to the fact that you're a young man now. It's a normal reaction.
Is it normal for him to be suspicious of the young man?
I bet you'd find it in more homes than would care to admit. But, honey, he would just be compounding the problem if you enlisted in the Army.
You want me to be honest with you, Aunt Amy? Just as you've always been honest with me?
Of course.
I may get drafted anyway. Everything's just so up in the air. It seems to me I might as well go on and get the whole thing over with.
Philip, you have told me that you wanted to study ecology in college.
Yeah, I would.
Well, that's such a wonderful thing for a young man to go into today. Such a wonderful field. To improve man's environment. I mean, it would be just doing so much good.
I can study it when I come back. Okay, if I come back.
Oh, Philip.
Well, I'm not going to make up my mind yet. Tara and I have to talk about it some more.
Does Tara want you to do this?
Tara's left it up to me.
And I should do the same, right?
It is my life, Aunt Amy.
I know. I know, honey. And here I am. Making you talk to me when you'd rather be with Tara.
No, I have to stay with my dad anyway. Mom's at the hospital.
No, no. I'll stay here. I'm not expecting your Uncle Ink for about another hour, so why don't you just run over, say hello to Tara, at least.
You mean it?
Of course I mean it. Now go ahead.
And Amy, you're fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.